it's hard to know what hats and clothes to wear because sometimes it's really hot and it's sunny, and sometimes it's really cold and rainy. So yes, before we start this video, I would just like to say I weirdly went from 500 subscribers to overnight gaining like 1,000 subscribers. So I don't know if those are like robot people. So if you guys are real people, please say hello to me in the comment section, or I'm just going to assume that it's just robot people. Yes. I've been doing a lot of looking around and trying to figure out what's going on with the crane fly larva that attacked my lettuce and kale out in the garden. I figured that out last week. I've been trying some different things. I thought the birds pecking in the soil might help, but that hasn't solved the problem. So I'll deal with that in a later video, but let's look at the jolly things that happened this week. I'm here in the house in my makeshift nursery, and I just noticed that in my corral of germinating plants, the lettuce that I seeded last week is coming up, and I better get these guys out to the greenhouse tables and light before they get leggy. These are the 2 flats of lettuce that I just brought down from the house, germinating. These 2 flats were supposed to be my 4th succession of lettuce going out into the garden. And these are the leftovers from my 3rd succession of lettuce that I don't know if it's gonna make it. Okay, folks, it is Sunday, which I normally take off, but we've only got today and tomorrow. They're supposed to be sunny, and they're supposed to rain. So I wanted to get some things done. I would really like to get my parsley and my leeks planted out. And also I need to get my potatoes planted, but I'm just kind of a little bit nervous about these crane fly larvae and their little life cycle. So one thing I have to do is fork through this bed and get the rocks and sticks out of here before I plant my last of a 3rd succession of carrots. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that today because that'll be progress. I've got my buddy over here in the new garden area. What you doing? I'm getting my deer fencing this week. So I got my little deer friend sitting there, and my little robin buddy is back. Haven't seen him for a while. Oakley dokley, dudes. It took me all afternoon to do that. I got some big old logs and boulders out of there, but it was mostly little stuff that I just dumped over here in the corner. Yay. Never have to do that again. Now, if everything goes as planned, I'm going to plant carrots tomorrow in that bed. Hey, I wanted to get out here to this greenhouse. Things are getting a little overgrown. I need to do a little harvest. I'm gonna let the other greenhouse grow back after the golden crown sparrows chewed on everything last week. But I definitely need to get all the radishes pulled at the bed ends. They're way too big. The baby chard needs to get cut. It's not even baby leaf size anymore. I do need to kind of thin my orach. Isn't it pretty? This is my lofty salad mix that I'm finally gonna cut here. And yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna let these bok choy just keep growing, but I definitely need to get these radishes. They're just getting like huge. I planted all these radishes at the bed ends to attract slugs away from everything else, and guess what? It's working. And radishes, baby chard, lofty salad mix. Okay, so I think I said earlier that I'm planting my 3rd succession of carrots, and that's not really what I meant. I just meant I'm planting my 3rd bed. Normally I would want to plant them all at once because they hold in the ground pretty good. But I've just had to take time to prep them one at a time because that's how it's worked out. Because I was having to dig into this bed here, I kind of lost my pathway. So I kind of dug the pathway out, and there's a bunch of seaweed in it. And I threw that on top of the bed. With the previous 2 beds, I didn't do that because at the time the seaweed wasn't really broken down very well enough for the Jang cedar to go through it. So this is a really tall bed with seaweed in it. And I pulled it from this pathway here because that's the one I couldn't find. And so this one right here still has seaweed in it. And also between those two first beds over there. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that seaweed in the pathways. At some point I'll have to dig it out or something. This is the only seed that I could get in pellets this year. I ended up taking this pathway of seaweed and throwing it onto the garlic bed and kind of raking that out. And then also this half pathway of seaweed and throwing it onto this bed where I'm going to be seeding leeks. Okay, folks, it is 6:30 in the afternoon, and I think I'm going to plant out my parsley and my leeks. My plan was to plant my parsley amongst my garlic, and my leeks will go in this half bed here, and I'm just gonna grit it out and jam them in there because I just want to get them out before it rains. I hope everything goes good. I'm wearing my bug hat because I think there might be bugs. So I kind of half-ass have like 2 leeks per soil block that I'm gonna try and cut, you know, like in half and pull the roots apart and jam them into the bed. That actually worked out okay. $228 leeks, folks. I used the 4-row gritter and I jammed 3 plants per square. And it's 20 feet, half a bed. Let's do the parsley. I should have 72 total parsley, but like one of them's little and tiny. Half curly, half Italian. And we are gonna stick them along 1 row in between the garlic. I've got 32 Italian parsley and 26 curly parsley tucked between the garlics on this side. Miscellaneous leftover sod fellows. And hopefully the golden crown sparrows have flown north. It's been raining my leeks and my parsley in. I just took the row cover off the spinach bed here because the sun just came out and it's awfully warm. And I haven't seen any migrating sparrows for a very long time. So anyway, this is what it looks like in case some birds come up and tear it up. I actually did have spinach coming up here. We've got little deer over here. This is baby deer from last year, sitting in the sawdust pile. Hey, baby deer. You look pretty cozy. May. Plant out basil, cucumbers, tomatoes. I think we're gonna try that today. Yeah, plant out lettuce this week. Maybe I'll figure that out by Friday. I was supposed to start my later season lettuce this month, but I'm just having to restart lettuce as quickly as possible since I have my disaster lettuce out there. I was supposed to seed those restarts of lettuce last night, but I didn't get it done. Waiting for my green onions to germinate, and look, they're starting to come up. I better get these guys out to the greenhouse table so they can get some light. And here in my makeshift nursery, these guys are going out today, or at least some of them. Hello, basil and cucumbers. Hello, tomatoes. I've already had to raise the lights once, and now they're all the way up to the lights again. Oh, noes. It's almost a completely blue sky day today. A little bit of haziness, especially where the sun is right now. And there's a mix of forecasts this week. Some sun, some scattered showers. Right now at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's about 42 Fahrenheit and the sun is almost completely covering both of the greenhouses. I'm here in the basil greenhouse, or what will be the basil greenhouse. And look who I found this morning on the radishes. I really need to get some wood, wet wood sitting here so they'll have a little home to hide in the day, and then I can more easily pick them up. Hey, buddy. Oh, they love the radishes. I've got my 3 tubs of germinating green onions down from the house. Okay, so I got a little tub of orage and a little tiny smattering of baby chard, and I've cleared out this whole center row for the cucumbers and tomatoes. And next week I'll plant out the smaller cucumbers into this bed. Not quite sure what I'm gonna do. Okay folks, I am back from lunch and I took off the row cover on that back half of baby chard, and I think I'm gonna leave that off just like I've done with the spinach bed over here, because I don't think we're gonna need to worry about migrating birds anymore. I figure, well, it's half sprinkling, half sunshining out there. I'll come into the greenhouse and put these tomatoes in this bed here. I've got my tomatoes planted a little bit wider than 1 foot apart at the drip hole on the drip line. Okay folks, so I am planting cucumbers. I got 14 spaced a foot at the drip holes along the drip line. Very, very carefully. Last year I killed all my cucumbers. Okay, now I just need to water these guys in and make everybody a little house for the night. Oh, please, you guys, please live. Live long and prosper. Okay, so I've got the extra special little watering can, so as I don't get everybody wet. Okay, so the plan is to drape this row cover over these sticks. Okay dudes, this is what it looks like. Got a little bunch of bok choy from the bed ends. And this bed of lettuce is finally ready to pick. That's mid-May, folks. Times during the day it's been sunny like it is now, and then overcast, and then pouring down rain. So some good news, we got the second bed of carrots are germinating. It'll take a little while for this latest planting of carrots to come up, and my parsley is still alive underneath my garlic. Leeks are doing good. Baby chard seems to be doing good. These 2 beds, kale and chard and kale, don't seem to have been hit too hard by the crane fly larvae, just a few dead guys. So far, so good. And all that's really standing in this bed of original planting of lettuce is the green onions and a few survivors. And I've been trying my best to keep this half bed of latest planting of lettuce alive, but I've had to do a lot of transplanting and hunting at night. We shall see if they survive. I've seen a little bit of what looks like larva damage in this planting of spinach, but so far not too bad. I have to keep this 1 bed of kale covered because there's no fencing around here. In these 3 beds where I seeded clover and some sugar snap peas, I am seeing some of those come up, so that is pretty cool. So so far so good, and things are going pretty jolly in the greenhouses. I've got drip going on all 4 beds in the greenhouses because the soil was getting a little bit dry. I've kept the row cover on during the day even with this new planting of tomatoes and cucumbers, because it's just been, you know, mostly overcast and raining, and only 63 degrees in here. So I'm sure it gets warmer when it's sunny, but it's been so intermittent. I just strung up my peas over here. give them something to crawl up on. A lot of the ones that were planted along here just died, so we'll see how those few in the back do. It's kind of too bad. My carrots are finally doing really nicely here, but I'll be needing to transplant out basil into this bed next week, so we'll see how that goes. My kale that was damaged by the golden crown sparrows recovering. I pulled off some bad leaf. Okay, there you go, folks. That was the week, and hopefully next week I can get my fence up and potatoes planted. They're sprouting back there. Yes, and I also have a scheme for dealing with my lettuce and how I'm going to get enough lettuce to sell this year. I'll get that figured out, and I'll let you guys know next week. Boy, he's eating a whole pine cone. You probably can't even see it.